Hi, babe.
Hi.
Yay! Final episode of the season. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. What a season it's been.
What a season. It's when we started seeing everyone come back in the reunion episodes, I was like, oh yeah, they were in this season.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. It's an iconic season. A season for the ages.
Definitely. What?
Is that an expression?
Yeah.
Was I meant to say one for the books?
No, for the ages is a thing.
Oh,
for sure.
thank goodness.
I do wish that they spoke to that they didn't just stick to speaking to the people who were there in the final vows, because we've already seen them last week.
Yeah, I think that happens every year. And I guess
think a few seasons ago they used to talk to the other people. Get Katie up on the couch.
Yeah.
Get Veronica up on the couch. I have a feeling that she has got some daddy who's a lawyer who has threatened to sue them if they show a single thing of her, because there was not one word coming out of that woman's mouth that we saw.
Yeah.
And it was suspicious.
So we had the reunion dinner party and the reunion commitment ceremony.
Ooh.
I'm always like, why do they do it in 2 episodes? But actually this time it was quite delicious.
It was. It made sense to kind of just throw them in together and see what happened, and then have a bit more of the structure the next day. Again, though, I do wish that it had been 3 months later rather than 3 weeks later.
Oh my God. And also it's so funny how they keep all of the timings in, because it does make it so confusing and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I do think that's partly, even though Jacqui, for example, was fully lying about the timeline of her and Clint, I do think there must be a certain amount that they have to say it was a certain length of time.
Yeah.
Because everyone says something different. And they're always like, we were in this for 3 months and it's been 2, and it's, I don't know, I think they try and make it look longer than it is or something, and especially the gap in between.
Yeah. Some people were saying 4 days, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
What was going on?
It's just all a bit confusing.
Saying that though, I guess in the English one, when we have the Christmas reunion, it's sort of by the time it's kind of nice to have them back before anything's actually been shown on the telly, because they're not in influencer mode, jaded, I'm a bit famous now mode.
That's true, actually. Maybe that is
intentional.
Thank you. Maybe that is intentional.
Yeah, that must have something to do with it.
Because actually I hadn't thought of it that way, and that does make sense. And I
then
do want to see them like that. You
get their reactions to seeing themselves, which was really fun to see. And they hadn't seen it before. But still, as we will get to later on in this episode, there's some even juicier gossip from post reunion.
Yes, at the end of this episode we're going to give you
our roundup,
because we've gone into the depths of TikTok to get the answers we needed.
It felt so good.
It did feel really good. I was on it for quite a while and I was having so much fun. I was only on a few people's. I actually haven't looked at loads of them, but the relevant ones that you're going to want to know about, basically.
I mean, we can bring more gossip to the people over the next few weeks.
Yes, also,
if anything comes to us.
If you've heard something, just tell us, because
the floodgates are open now.
Yeah, the floodgates are open. Tell us all the spoilers you have. We've watched it all now. We don't care. The spoilers that we'd gotten throughout the recording, I'm actually thankful for, in a way, because they only got to the end of MAFS itself. They never went beyond the experiment. So if you did put a spoiler in there, thank you for not going beyond. That was helpful. And it was kind of fun. We knew for a while that Jacqui and Clint were going to be together, and it was kind of fun when it happened. And then I was like, oh, we don't know anything else. This is so exciting. And so, yeah.
One thing that I had accidentally read a couple of weeks ago was Awhina saying Adrian's blocked now.
That's a
talking
shame.
about having blocked him. So I knew they wouldn't be together, but I mean, that wasn't exactly hard.
Oh, and
guess.
Actually, I didn't know. I knew Dave and Jamie weren't going to be together. That was the only one I knew, but you didn't know that.
No.
I mean, I could have guessed as well that Adrian and Awhina weren't together.
So Dave and Jamie, when we come to this reunion, it's clearly a cycle for him, this becoming detached thing.
They broke up a week before.
Yeah, they broke up a week before. He seems to be in this mode where he just looks a bit numb and he doesn't care. And maybe it is larger than his relationship with Jamie. Maybe this is.
I think it is.
Something.
It has to be, because he's a catch, as we've said before.
Yeah,
he's a good-looking fella.
But then, give us more of the Veronica stuff. So they did show Jamie some of the Veronica stuff,
and her crying.
little face. her little worried eyes, which you can't see
for some
my impression
reason,
of because I'm still
we're still
rocking the puffy face.
I almost think that the Veronica stuff wasn't shown to them.
Right.
And it was in post.
You'd have thought it would have blown up.
That's what I mean. Nothing seemed to blow up. Like, I would have said they panned to Veronica and they panned to Jamie crying, but I'm like, that could have been anything. And the fact that they didn't talk about it, I'm like, it was really damning.
It's bizarre that they didn't talk about it. That's like,
what's the point of the fucking reunion?
Yeah. Like, had they not edited, had they not found that amongst the reels of editing yet? Like, it must take so long to edit this show.
Yeah, I'd actually love to know how they do it because it's mad. Like, do they do it as they go or like what? Yeah,
and as we found out when we went on the after show thing, the short-lived after show run by
AJ Adudu.
And then we were shown footage of episode 1 very, very, very quietly, not cut together properly with no background music, and we were like, what's going on? And that was like a few days before it was released.
A few weeks.
Was it a few weeks?
Yeah,
a couple of 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and it was not edited yet, that episode.
It's amazing.
I'm sure they're shown it without music, without, they must be shown a much longer selection.
I've got a theory.
What?
You know how we see so many flashbacks?
Yeah.
I reckon they're editing fatigued by the end of the series. So they just think, just fucking copy and paste that, bring that back in. Like I would be.
Yeah.
That's probably what they do. That's
True.
my theory.
But yeah, we needed more from the Veronica thing.
Yeah. Something that was interesting and that I really enjoyed was when Jamie stormed off at the dinner party and had a big cry.
Yeah.
And she was so happy when all the girls followed her, which was gorgeous. I loved that little scene. And what I loved, because we've been saying this for a while, was that I think it was probably Beth, for reasons we've already spoken about on this show, said like, we've all been fucked by these men. These men are all crap.
Yeah.
And they've all just been rubbish and we've been let down by all of them.
Yeah.
And they
look
were all,
at us. Look how fabulous we are.
Yeah, exactly. And they were all sitting around in that circle and I was like, good. I'm glad they're recognising that. And bar Sierra.
That's when Jamie said, I'll go overseas. I'm going to have to go overseas to get one.
Overseas, yeah. I'll even go overseas.
Yeah. Don't go to France, though, because you might catch a pool.
Probably quite easily as well. Terrible. But Veronica went over there.
Well, she wants to seem like a good person, doesn't she? She's a bit delulu about her image.
Delulu indeed. I saw her on TikTok saying, I was actually really moved by Elliot's story.
Sure,
in your dreams, girl, you were not.
Oh yeah, she said like,
I really cared for Elliot's story or something.
Just to quickly clear something up. I'm like, I think, just to clear the air.
Yeah.
Like, no, I think you're trying to restore your image.
Yep. And unfortunately, Milov, it has not worked.
No.
Because forever you will be, do you think it's appropriate to patronise me, Elliot? Do you think it's appropriate to patronise me, Elliot? That's who you will be forever.
Horrible.
So, Devo about Dave and Jamie, but we'll come back to...
I should have followed like Karina, I should have followed my gut instinct when I was feeling like, I don't really know if I want them to get together at the final vows.
Yeah, but I'm glad they gave it another shot for her own sanity and that she could see, oh, it's not me, it's him and this weird pattern that he's got.
Yeah.
And he's doing it again. Like, I think I would need to even though it's horrible, I'd need to go through it again to make sure that was it.
Yeah. It was very hilarious when Jacqui was saying, look around you, any of you might be sitting next to your person, your soulmate, and then they flashed to Dave and Veronica. It was
loved
amazing
that, but also gross.
Yeah.
Based on TikTok research, I'm not entirely, and also Erin, who is our she's
behind the scenes researcher.
Yeah, TikTok. She's our researcher. Yeah, let's just say she's a researcher.
TikTok correspondent.
TikTok correspondent Erin. Pretty sure there isn't any evidence that
Veronica and Dave
are together.
No, but people are trying. There's been pictures of them walking down a street together.
Yeah, but you would, wouldn't you? Because they're so irrelevant now.
Yeah,
that they would. And on Jamie, we'll come back to that at the end of the episode.
We will.
So keep listening if you want gossip there.
That's the best bit of gossip, I think.
Me too.
Okay, let's take a little brief nosedive into the land of Paul and his pathetic excuses.
Oh my God, fantastic.
It just proves that he just tries to shapeshift into whatever stance is going to cover his ass the best.
But only when he's in front of other people. And then as soon as he's on the camera behind the camera by himself with a producer, his true colours come out immediately. And then it's like he forgets. He thinks it's like the fucking Big Brother diary room or something.
But what I mean is, what he's obviously decided now is, oh, if I try and slag her off, that's going to make me look better. Whereas what he was trying to do before was, oh, if I apologise, that might make me look better. It's always just about what's going to make him look better, not about what he actually thinks.
Yeah.
Because he was saying, oh, I'll be there with open arms. I'll wait for her forever. I'm always going to care for her. Oh, 4 days at home, and then you realise she's a terrible, horrible monster.
I realised we're not compatible. I'm like, why are you trying to work out if you're... Like, his whole thing was like, I went home and I was thinking about whether we are compatible, and we are not because of her, these reasons about her. And I'm like... She's already rejected you.
Dumped you. Yeah, he said.
So why are you worrying about if you're compatible or not?
The rejection didn't sit well with me.
Yeah, I bet it didn't.
It's not going to sit well with you.
Why
you got
would
rejected.
It? Yeah. You said yes, she said no. That's obviously going to be uncomfortable.
If anything, her rejection of you proves her moral fibre, because she was like, no.
He was basically calling her a snob because she's saying that she's too good for him. So he perceived that as snobbishness.
Yeah.
When it's like, no, you're just shit.
Yeah.
And she does deserve better.
Yeah.
And also, again, another person that needed to go through something again to be proven right. Like, Karina almost needed to be put at the dinner party with Paul again to know that she'd made the right decision. And I think she realised that she had through that experience, through doing this reunion. So I'm very happy for her.
Definitely. She withstood it very well.
God, yeah. And like, not in her usual sort of dissociating way. Like, it looked like she was quiet but kind of smirking in a way because she knew she'd done the right thing. Like, she looked more confident in her decision, rather than being like, oh God, have I made the right decision here?
It was kind of like a microcosm of like Amber Heard, Johnny Depp stuff, or like Justin Baldoni, what's her name? I know a lot of people
Blake Lively,
pro Justin, but anyway, using the tactic of, I've realised she's crazy, she's out of control, she's manipulative, she's really jealous and insecure. Like, that's, even though that's just looks like it's just him saying something, like, it's the beginnings of something really, really troubling.
It's a tale as old as time.
It is.
Hysteria.
Yeah, exactly.
Lobotomies.
Exactly.
Witch hunts. It's a tale as old as time. It's what men always have to do. Have to say women are crazy.
Because they've been shamed.
Yeah, they've been shamed and they've been shunned.
Yeah.
They've been they've been outcast. And so they have to blame it on women. And it often works. So that's why Paul did it.
And like in the Blake Lively thing, like, Karina doesn't have to be an amazing person to make him in the wrong.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, maybe she does judge people.
Yeah.
Like, maybe she is a little bit of a snob sometimes, but he was actually manipulative and mean to her and lied to her and basically cheated on her.
Yeah, that's exactly the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively. Sorry, everyone, will bring it up because everyone was like, well,
she's
Blake
a dickhead.
Lively was mean to a journalist in 2011. And it's like, okay.
She's allowed to be a dick.
She's a celebrity. Like, we know celebrities are dicks. It doesn't mean that she deserves to be put in sexually harassed and put in uncomfortable situations on set just because she's rich and she's
a bit of a bitch. Yeah.
That was such a good thing because I remember thinking that for a while. I was like, oh, it sounds like she was an arsehole, and then I don't know who said it, but someone was like, okay, so she's a bit she's mean and he's sexually harassing, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's not equal. But for some reason in society we see women's, well, it's like oh God, I'm just doing so many comparisons. You know how like when the Conservative Party makes a mistake versus when the Labour Party makes a mistake. This is more controversial now because the Labour Party are absolutely fucked and I'm embarrassed. But like when the left make a mistake, they're held to account so much more than the right, because the left should know better. And it's kind of like, women should know better. Yeah. Women are good, men are evil. Full stop. No, I'm just I don't know. I'm doing too many comparisons. Sorry about that. I'm getting carried away with my own like thoughts.
No, I agree. I just feel like the stuff that he was saying, he could have like written that to her. If this was a relationship off the telly, he could have just, you know, spread that around her group of friends and just sent her text saying that, and it could have actually been damaging to her. Whereas I'm glad that it came out and she was able to just kind of roll her eyes at him.
Yes, if it was in real life, what you were just saying, she would have done what she would have kept it all quiet. Yeah. She wouldn't have told anyone about the wall punch. She maybe might have told a little bit about the Awhina thing, but maybe not too much, because she would have been embarrassed about being called a snob. Yeah. And she wouldn't have mentioned the pool wanch. The wall punch, because she would have been embarrassed. So it would have, his theory would have worked. If
they live in the same town, he would have spread it around.
But because everyone has observed the whole arc, he couldn't get away with it.
And the experts weren't letting him, when he was kept being like, but she did things as well. She did things as well. It's like, but you lied.
And made all these mistakes. We loved, I've forgotten his name.
John,
thank you. It's just John. It's just John.
It is hard.
It's really
hard. I wrote
hard.
Nick again in my notes. Nick. And then I had to turn it. Anyway. We loved him.
I loved John saying that. And also Alessandra saying, I'd appreciate it if you don't talk over me, because he does that to Karina. He does that thing where he just starts saying absolutely nothing, but just saying it so much that person has to stop talking.
And that weird thing he said where he was like, Karina said one time, I don't want people to think that I'm not the kind of person that would stand up for what I believe in.
Oh, yeah.
And we had to work it out because there were so many negatives in there.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I was trying to say it to you. I was like, what did she... Yeah, so he was trying to say she doesn't want to be perceived as a bad person, but she meant she doesn't want to be a bad person. She doesn't want to be perceived as one.
To think she stands up for what she believes in.
Yeah.
I think that's okay.
Also, maybe
it's not like she was putting cats in a pie while... chopping off cats' heads and cooking them in a pie and going, I hope people think I'm a good person.
Yeah.
It wasn't... don't know why that's the image that came to me.
I like it. Because you basically just wrote Sweeney Todd.
Except it's cats, which is even worse. I'm joking.
There's a line in one of the songs where she talks about, I think, another lady
who uses cats.
Yeah. Recently, the neighbours' cats have disappeared. Oh. Popping pussies into pies. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. Maybe it isn't a bad thing that being observed on national television makes you want to think about your actions and be a good person. Maybe that's not such a bad thing. Maybe you should think about that before you're a dick. And
I'm not convinced he's going to learn from this, though.
No, nor am I. I'm saying that's what Karina did. Maybe it's not a bad thing because she was saying, I don't want to be a bad person. So maybe that's not a bad thing that you're like, oh shit, maybe I should make these decisions based on how people are like, maybe that's actually not a bad thing.
I'm really happy to see that Karina and Jamie are close friends.
Yes,
they
based
seem
on
to
the
be
TikToks.
The closest based on the TikToks.
Also there's Jamie and Karina, Beth and Awhina.
A bit of a divide.
No, group.
Oh, nice.
As a group.
That's good because there's a bit of a divide between some of the men associated with those women.
Yep.
Because obviously Jamie and Karina had such a big bust up, and it does show that they've both learnt from the process. Jamie's learnt to be less just rejecting people as soon as they do something wrong and, less defensive.
Yes.
And Karina has learned to be less reactive to people's different ways of expressing themselves. So it has been a learning process for her.
Yes, and it just does seem like Well, I mean, obviously based off social media, but everyone looks quite happy in a cute way.
Yeah. I liked some of John's lines.
Come on,
I felt
hit me
like
with
he was
them.
getting very impassioned and kind of half saying things that people say, but in a bit of a funny old man way. Frankly, it just made me sick in the stomach.
Loved. Also, what I liked is because he said it more plainly than he did when it actually happened, and we had a problem with it. He said, "You punched a wall, that's violence."
Yeah.
I was like, good, finally say it, because you didn't say it last time.
And Paul gets all ashen and
look at me when I'm
sweaty.
talking to you. Okay.
Oh.
Get rid. See you, Paul.
Yeah.
I didn't look him up. Don't know what's going on with him. Don't know what's going on with Karina.
He's probably just still shaving his hairline.
Yeah,
looking at himself in the mirror.
What's that all about?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't wish to know.
No, it's fine.
So Sierra was the villain of this piece.
Yeah.
She was also dressed like a Disney villain.
I mean, smart move if you want to get some airtime, I guess, because all the others didn't get any airtime and they were probably just being nice.
Yeah.
And she looked wild.
Yeah.
She had like a wildness about her. Like coming in ready to be the villain.
Yeah.
I think she
I'm
genuinely
a bit
just
worried
wanted
about
airtime.
her.
Yeah, I hope she's okay, because she seemed quite nice and normal at the start.
Yeah, and she obviously, like, it's not her fault that she might be curious about whether Adrian wants to hook up, because another thing that they didn't show them showing
Footsie.
Yeah, the footsie scene.
We would have put that edit together a lot differently.
We would have. He gave her signals. You know, I don't think it's crazy that they might have wanted to see if something could happen, but I wish she would lean into it a bit more. And I don't know why I don't know. But again, it's like she sort of flirted with him a bit, but then just not for any reason, because they're not going out, and then just alienated herself from the whole entire rest of the group.
Yeah.
Also, Adrian's position in this was confusing, because he obviously told Awhina everything, sent her screenshots of everything that Sierra said, which I don't know if he should have, because it sounds like he's been entertaining Sierra in a way.
I don't know, because it kind of sounded like
should you just send someone saying, oh, she's got really ugly hair extensions? Like, that's not very nice for Awhina to know.
Yeah, but I guess like if Awhina and Adrian were still talking and like, you know, on good terms, I'm not entirely sure they were, but like if they were, then it would be weird for him to hide that. Like he
feels like that's a loyalty thing.
Yeah, like if someone, exactly. He was close to her, and so it'd be, I don't know, screenshots. I mean, it is reality TV at the end of the day, so it's not surprising that screenshots got brought out. What doesn't make sense is that Sierra thinks that she's in the right position to do that, to tell Adrian those thoughts that aren't very nice.
Yeah,
and if there's screenshots, that means that there likely wasn't a prompt, because I would be like, if someone sent me screenshots and hid the part that they'd sent, for example, Adrian, I'd be like, well, what did you say before that?
Yeah.
To prompt that. But I would assume
it sounded like she just kind of went off on one a bit, didn't it? Which
seems strange thing to do.
Judgment. Then we had the Sierra Awhina conversation that happened.
Yeah.
And let's get into whether we think Athena's in the wrong or the right for what she said. But firstly, I think Sierra's a dick for bringing that up, like saying like this needs to come out, because yes, the things Awhina said were horrible, but I really don't think there's anything wrong with, well, it's complicated. She should have broken up with Adrian if she thinks those things about him.
I agree. In
that moment, he had basically left her. I think she's within her right to go and have a bit of a bitch to her friend, and I don't think it's like the duty of her friend to air that to anybody.
I agree.
But
like, she just knew she was going to come across bad because of those screenshots.
Yeah.
So she was like, well, I've got tea on you, boom, boom, boom. And just the way that she like threw them out was gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt bad for Awhina, because you could see her be like, shit. But at the same time, I felt baddest for Adrian, because I personally felt bad.
Yeah.
Because
I felt guilty too.
We've said like kind of rude things about him, and I didn't know, and I should have known. We should have known that he is personally upset and offended by people calling him dumb or stupid, and we've probably been guilty of saying those words. So
sorry, Adrian.
So we are sorry, Adrian. Sorry, that wasn't very nice of us.
Sorry, but I did a sorry, but.
Oh my god, you've been watching. No, I apologise, but
he's definitely given us reason to be pissed off with him throughout the series.
Yes, be pissed off with him. Maybe not call him.
But it was
dumb.
perhaps catty of us to focus on certain elements.
Yes, but the difference between us and Awhina is we're not.
He doesn't know who we are.
He doesn't know who we are, and we're not having sex with him. If you're having sex with someone / saying you really like them, I can't believe you could then say those things about someone.
It is,
and then get back into bed.
It is alarming, because there was times when it was like, Awhina, do you realise like what he's like? Why are you so obsessed with him? Because it was like she was putting him on a pedestal at times, but it's like where she doesn't respect him, she doesn't think he's clever, interesting, impressive.
That must have been really, I could see why Adrian was like, I'm not going to entertain this, because that was hurtful.
Yeah, it's difficult, because I think it is really mean to do that about someone that you've had a relationship with, but then again, he acted in ways like he didn't respect her, and like you shouldn't act towards someone you've been in a relationship with, like go on a date with someone else.
I think they've both been equally disrespectful to each other.
Yeah, it's just a shit show, isn't it?
And I think some of the things that he said about Awhina,
I wouldn't say equally, I'd say he's been worse, but
yeah, okay,
this particular
they've
instance,
both been bad too. It was very toxic.
Yes,
this is a toxic situation. And then the last thing was like, when Adrian said at the dinner table, do I seem like I'm dumb? And then it panned to Jamie and Karina, and they were like looking away. Oh. So naughty. And one other thing about Sierra, the shots of her in the VT, I don't know if she was pissed as a fart with like red wine stain all over her lips,
like this.
with a frown,
very downturned mouth,
and then just like
the lipstick colour.
Her lips were like blue, but she didn't look good.
No,
that was all I had to say on that. The watching the recap of Adrian and Awhina's relationship was quite sad. Awhina was really upset. Through a lot of
proper tears coming out,
which was sad.
It was just not a positive thing for her at all. We didn't see any particular interaction or flirtation between her and Billy at the dinner party, even though someone said that Awhina's type is a tattooed tradie from Perth.
Yeah, and then I
Billy.
think Sierra mentioned, or one of them mentioned the wife swap thing again.
It was Sierra saying that. And then obviously they got shown the footage, which I don't think we'd seen, of Adrian saying to Sierra like, well, maybe we should swap and stuff. But I think we can talk about there's gossip that Awhina and Billy are,
I think they're hanging out a lot, but it's hard because like there's not lots of MAFS people in Perth, so I don't know if I can see that they're trying to like,
are they trying to get attention? But also it would just
make sense.
Completely make sense.
We said it early on. We were like, they'd be a good couple. So
they're so well suited.
Yeah, they are. So hopefully.
So I hope they give it a go. But we did actually see Billy flirting with Karina, giving that one a go.
I don't remember.
She's quite a different type to Awhina. Well, there was just a little bit of him saying, okay, Kim K or something. And then she was like,
yeah.
They are all from Perth.
So maybe there's something going on.
Oh, just one more on Awhina. I thought it was very sad and interesting when she said to the experts, like, I didn't feel hot.
Yeah.
I didn't feel hot the whole time. Like, she didn't feel desirable. And you would think, looking at the chemistry, that it would that she would have felt desirable.
Yeah.
It just shows that it was driven by, like, oh, maybe this time if he has sex with me, it means he thinks I'm hot enough, rather than like, I can't stop doing this because I feel so sexy when it happens.
Yeah.
Like, it's so sad.
She just thinks he's so hot. She wants to have
she
sex.
Was less than. So that's shit, isn't it?
There was 2 things that were in the like recap that weren't in the I'm sure weren't in the original show.
Yeah.
Which you've already mentioned about him saying about the wife swap.
Yeah.
And the other one was him saying that, yeah, I might have cheated.
Yes.
Because I remember them saying, like, what if I said I've looked at your notes or your application?
Yeah.
But then I never saw the bit where he said, yeah, I might have cheated, actually. Because that was so bad. He called Awhina disgusting. Made her feel so guilty.
It was awful. I'd completely forgotten about that. But again, we didn't really get her reaction. Again, I'm like, did she see that?
Yeah.
Why didn't they talk about that?
I don't know. Why didn't they talk about anything like this?
Like, that's a big moment, big revelation. It's bizarre.
Really weird. But I guess maybe because they weren't together.
What do you mean?
Like, they weren't together in this reunion, so maybe it was pointless. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they're just like, whatever.
Yeah. Right. Ryan and Jacqui.
Oh my God.
So, bless Ryan. I mean, the way they all roasted him with the video of the samurai sword was really funny. About talking about warriors. Jamie was pissing herself. I loved it. But yeah, I love that everyone, Jacqui and Clint, thought they were being really clever and sneaky, and everyone's just like, well, they're together, aren't they?
What was the point in that?
So pointless.
Also, so Sierra came in as the villain, but the real villain was Clint. Sneaky little saying to Ryan, we're not fucking mates. Okay.
Clint is such a simp, like, for women. Like, he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, he was immediately Lauren's dog.
Yeah.
And now he's immediately Jackie's dog. Why are you going for these mad women? He's obviously really weird or something, because why doesn't he have a wife already? Because he seems obsessed with to do anything.
He did
with
have
women.
a long-term relationship that broke up.
I forget every time.
I'm intrigued about that, but
he's such a weird guy. Like, Jacqui. Actually, watching that made me fall for her even more, and I can't believe some of the things that Ryan said about
this
female has had to put up with. That reminds me of that video of people are entitled to their sexual proclivities, but every year in Queensland 5,000 people are eaten by a crocodile. You know? That was very paraphrased, but
yeah, there is a dynamic about that reminds me of, like, in those kind of 90s Australian kind of cute films, like that one that we watched about people that live under a train track or something.
Huh?
What was that Australian film that we watched? Anyway,
no, tell me quick.
I can't remember. I don't know how to describe it. People that, like, live in a house, they're kind of hoarders. It's all like
under the airport.
Under the airport.
That's called the castle.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a dynamic that feels quite Australian of, like, Jacqui, the woman being quite mad and noisy and dominant, and the man just being, like, there in a t-shirt and, like,
I think that is you're right, that is a very Australian
do you know what I mean?
Because women in Australia are always like, if I think of a classic Australian woman, she's like round, wears very bright colours and has crazy glasses.
Yeah.
And could look like an art teacher over here, and then her husband is just having a few tinnies. Yeah, that exact dynamic.
So I can see that them falling into that. But he must have seen some alarming... She can't be easy to live with.
My literal asshole!
Oh my God. My literal ass! I was like, why are you screaming about your ass?
Okay.
And he's just like,
yes, you did.
That's fine.
And the timelines, again, not making any sense.
Oh my God.
We first started speaking 1 week after the experiment. 2 weeks later, 1 week I got a one-way ticket to Tassie. Now I've not been. Now I've been there 2 weeks and I'm staying there forever.
Very lesbian of them.
Yeah,
but they're not welcome in the club.
No way.
I felt bad for Ryan because he was trying to, like, make a thing of, like, guys, I've kind of been cheated on, but they're such a ridiculous pair that everyone was just kind of laughing about it.
Yeah, I rang you both directly. I rang them directly.
Oh,
it's a dog act, but it's so validating. I'm like, true, it is. I'm glad that Ryan got his validation that he needed.
Yeah. There's rumours that they've taken restraining orders out on each other.
They've gone to court.
Somebody told me, like, oh God, that someone's taken a restraining order out on Ryan, like, big red flag. And
oh, it's Jacqui.
The fact that it's so bad, but the fact that it is Jacqui does make it different.
Yeah, I think they've both taken restraining orders out on each other or something. But also they don't need to. She's in Tasmania now. They'll be fine. It's a different island.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And she's still, according to TikTok, she's still living there.
Well, something quite funny about
TikToks are heinous.
They're crazy.
So wobbly and dark and weird.
Someone was like, are you going to go back to work? And she's like, I can't go back to work. I'm too traumatized. I'm still recovering from the trauma and the PTSD. I was like, what? You're upset. Your whole thing was that you love making money. Your business. That's all you care about. And now she's got PTSD. And
she said her love language is starting a business.
I think they are starting a business with each other, but apparently she can't go back to full-time work. I wonder why.
Oh my God.
Also, when she's showing us around Clint's house, I'm like, this man has no taste.
Depressing.
Yeah.
The depressing room where he plays virtual golf.
The virtual golf. And she was like, Clint asked me to film this. You'll see at the end why. I did not see it. Reader, I did not see why.
No, she's like, her videos are like an aunt that you have on Facebook who posts like fuzzy videos of Christmas. I'm like, what?
Okay, let's get to the real stuff.
In that way, they're suited.
Yeah, let's get to the real stuff.
What, post-show stuff?
Yeah. So...
I can't believe...
If we knew this at the start...
I know! We'd be fuming.
We'd be absolutely fuming.
Okay. Jamie and Elliot are a couple.
Apparently. How cool.
Definitely, because she is all over his TikTok.
Well, I think definitely, but then I was looking further and there's a lot of Beth as well on his TikTok, but I think they might just be friends. But I think Jamie and Elliot are together. This is also from TikTok correspondent Erin.
That one where he was like, you thought you wanted a housewife.
Oh, yeah, true.
And then she's like in his bathroom while he's having a shower.
Okay, yeah, fine. You're right.
I love it. I can't believe I love it.
I can't believe I love it too. I remember someone saying, you'll love Elliot by the end. And I was like, get fucked, will I ever?
Damn it.
He also looked exactly like Rylan when he came. I thought it was Rylan who walked in the door when he came to the dinner party. I was like, what the hell?
I'm so happy for Jacqui.
For Jacqui?
Oh, God. Jamie. They're too similar.
Yeah, me too.
She
looks well.
She does. She needs an She needs an autistic partner, I think.
Yes,
because
she does.
She needs to know exactly where she stands.
Yes,
it doesn't matter. He could be a bit rude, and she could probably take it.
Yeah,
but she needs to know. And this is what she said to Dave. You just didn't fucking tell me again. When were you going to tell me?
When the kids came. Come?
So Elliot is
when the kids came.
When the kids came. Elliot is she needs to know, and he needs a bit of fun.
Yeah,
you didn't get your cute librarian, did you, Elliot? Who knew you needed
Jamie.
Quite the opposite.
And what's your classic, pairing?
Firecracker and Autie?
Yep.
Because that's me and you, baby.
You're also a firecracker, Dave.
But it's a dynamic that works very well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I just... Also, Elliot seems really funny on TikTok.
He's really quite...
I mean, a bit of a, like...
arse.
Troll.
He's a troll. He's a troll. He is a troll.
A funny one.
Credit where credit's due, he's a troll. And he's trolling TJ, Dave... Adrian, one thing about Adrian. Suddenly I
love Adrian.
You're Elliot and Adrian.
Oh God.
Oh, I'm so predictable.
You're a sucker.
But the reason is that now I have sympathy for him not being able to speak very well.
Yeah.
Because on his TikTok he made a video about rearranging his living room, and he on his coffee table he put a colouring in piece of paper, and he said, because I like to do colouring in at the end of the day, I find it relaxing. And I was like, I love that. He's in touch with what he needs. But I also see why Awhina didn't want to be with him, because she's already got a son, so you know. But I think that's cute, personally.
Well, I'm happy we're at the end.
Happy.
But I am going to be following a couple of them finding out.
Jamie has already been
gossip.
followed on Instagram because I think they're not posting on Instagram maybe until I think they must have like a rule.
How weird that they're allowed to post on TikTok, but not
maybe
Instagram.
the contracts are a bit dated or something. Yeah.
So we'll keep you updated with any other gossip that we discover.
And also, like we said before at the beginning of the episode, do come to us with any gossip that you've heard.
Please.
Because it's overwhelming when we haven't been involved in it, whereas you guys have probably all been looking it up for ages. So tell us anything that we've missed.
So we are going to be carrying on with episodes weekly. Talking about all the other TV shows that we're going to be watching now we have so much time. And
our lives in general.
I think I Kissed a Boy starts in tomorrow or something.
Fuck.
So
no rest for the wicked.
So we'll be chatting about that, I'm sure. And we will also have a Patreon episode every week. With bonus ad-free content, baby.
We haven't been mentioning that the Patreon episodes are ad-free. Of course they are.
Of course.
There's no adverts there.
So sign up to that if you want even more chat.
If you're going to miss having 2 episodes a week, get over there.
Then
you'll still have 2.
The link is in the description, episode description.
Or you can search Doing the MAFS on Patreon, because I've had issues with the links and I'm sorry. It's my fault. I should know better.
But thanks for listening and following us. We've had so many more listeners this series, and we've heard from so many more people, and it's been so nice.
I've loved
fun.
it. Thank you for the boost. And thank you for listening. And
we live in bloody West Wales, so it's nice to know that there's people out there.
There it is
in the world. There's more humans.
I love it. So thanks so much, guys. And as ever, if there's anything you think we should watch and you want to hear us talk about, let us know, and we'll try. Why not? Love you.
Bye.